but I mean, it is what it is. But yo, let me call you back. I'm about to be on the Zoom session with my boy. We about to hit the charts real quick. So I'm gonna text you. All right. All right. Yeah, bro. Shit. Life is crazy.
Goody.
Look, bro. Trying to get to this shmoney word. So.
Facts.
So.
Facts. So what's it called? You on my Discord?
I am. Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I posted last night, right?
Yeah. So a lot of some themes going on in the market right now, especially so the EU is under tension right now for the amount of gas that it may need. It may need to borrow some gas from Russia right now. It's going through a shortage, and that might affect the AUD, especially. It might actually have an effect on oil and natural gases. Oil is at an all-time high because of that. AUD is tight with China and Evergrande and shit like that. The whole Evergrande situation is driving, even though the United States had a mixed ADP. So we had less job numbers being hired. We actually had a 0.1% lower unemployment rate. Now the Fed's thing is unemployment. So they want to get to a target of about 2 to 3%, about 3% unemployment before they're really going to start talking about this tapering. But with a lot of the shit going on right now with Evergrande, there's actually a lot of money flowing into the dollar right now. So even though a lot of shit has been retracing, like GU had a fat spike during NFP, it's still closed with a nice fat daily doji, bearish. And so there's a lot of shit going on right now. GBP was going through some issues with furlough, especially running low on gas. They're not going to affect it too much, but they're still having a bit of weakness right now compared to the dollar, just because of the safe haven flows, because of Evergrande alone, because it could literally cause a global financial crisis. So that combined with the fact that we are seeing steadier numbers in the United States dollar, but not all the way there yet, it's going to create a lot of pressure and a lot of upwardness on the dollar. So I'll let you take it from here. What you see, my brother?
That's dove season. That's all I hear. For real. Well, you know the deal. I'm following trend here in terms of like technicals, but I've been tapping into fundamentals and shit like that too. So it's been giving me let you have that edge in terms of like understanding big picture.
Yeah.
It is the 4 hour. So notably, right? This from COVID. This is what we've been seeing, like a bearish dollar. And since Biden, we've been seeing like you said, a bullish dollar. We come into these interesting points at like 94, 150, 94, 630. If we could blow by those, it's going to be crazy, crazy bullish. But we might get some turbulence before we do that. But we do got structure to pull it off. So like on a 4 hour here, even though we are closing like lower lows, these lows here are still intact. And this is like coming off this little neckline. That's why this is like a yellow area for me, because if it breaks below this, I'll start to look for it to continue here and then take target, vice versa, on whichever major pair I'm trading.
Right.
But that's on the major side. So just inversely with these two, I'll pop these side by side real quick. Fucking 4 hour. And this is 4 hour. Cool. So, inverse size of each other, given the strength, so whatever the case may be. So I just play them on what the dollar's gonna break, because I don't know if you ever seen, well, like in London, I noticed, right? So peep how, like the regular 4 hours are 9 p.m., 1 a.m., 5 p.m., and vice versa.
Right.
The 4 hour charts on the dollar close an hour earlier. So at least on TradingView. So what's this? I'll show you right here. So 17, right? 17 that's 5, 6, 7. So they close an hour earlier. So it's like 7-3 and what is it? 7-3 and midnight. So I've noticed, right? Like looking on the technical side in London, where those 4 hour flips are crucial because of that, because there's like an hour gap in terms of like building price structure to let the dollar tell what the other pair to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I was gonna drop this as a Zoom to my group and shit too. So if people is looking on shit, we could just vibe for a little bit. I don't try and be on here for too long anyway.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. All right. Yeah, these look great, bro. These look great.
And then GBPJPY, I don't know if you ever. I know you only trade GU right now, right?
So I trade GU, Euro Aussie. I used to trade EJ because a little slow moving. My mentor recommended it to me. So I don't mind trading yen crosses, but as of right now, my eye has just been getting more keen to Euro Aussie than a lot of the yen crosses. I have one safe haven flow and then I have a risk pair. So that is Euro Aussie is my risk pair, politics versus risk, and then I have country versus safe haven with GU. So out of those two, I can get shit moving throughout the entire week.
Facts. Because even if this ranges too, like there's the saying, fundamentals set up the technicals. So that's more patient than anything and shit. But let me drop this link right now. A trader by her name is Draz.
I don't think so.
Nah, she has like a signal group or whatever. She trade like indices and shit. But we've been rocking for a minute since like IML days. But she's a legit trader. But I'm gonna drop it to her group too because all they do is trade the market.
Right.
But yeah. Fucking so this GJ. So structurally, right? GJ is in a mad interesting point for me. So even we take it back to like the monthly or so. So since history, since inception with all these crosses, 2016 with the wars, 2020 with the wars, this pair has been on the up and up, right? So looking at the weekly closed like an insanely bullish candle above like these highs we've been trying to trade above for a while. This yellow area I have right here at 152.200 or so is an area of interest for me if we get to see some bearish reaction here, because look at how structure's setting up, right? What's going on, y'all? I see y'all piling into the chat. I'm just looking at the market, y'all. If y'all got any questions, definitely feel free to unmute. I'm just vibing right now. But yeah, GJ, so this higher high, right, creates this lower low. Now we have this downwards bearish movement in GJ right at this 153.200 level, right? So as we made and it's important to notice like where structure's at. May I get the link to the review? Sorry, y'all, 1 second.
Yeah. So in terms of structure wise, so what I go by, Astro taught me pretty much was if you have two breaks of a piece of structure, then that means that structure's heading the other way. So as of right now, what I can see on your lower high, your lower low, on the daily, they have both been breached by that most previous that Friday close. Yeah. But then again, it also seems to me like is also still in an area of consolidation. So I would say this is in a very big range right now because it could easily come up to that 153.2 level and, just fucking tank.
Yeah, for sure. On the daily chart, I see that, no doubt. But we've been playing these bulls for a while. And so I want to see if we get some rejection up here. Because if we start to fail in this area, I'll definitely start to short, even if for scalps, right, to like 152, 150 level in London. Right. So that's DJ for me. But yeah, I wanted to show like is super important just to get the basics and structure. So like we have these highs here, created this low. To me, this is still, it really is dependent on who you ask this structure, but this is still bearish to me. I'm looking for bears here, you know what I'm saying? You could definitely take buys in terms of like, your 15, 20 pip ranges coming up to these retests, but the best risk to reward plays for me would be on the bearish side, even though we were, still had these bulls all pretty much last week. So that's it for me, y'all. If y'all got any questions of what y'all want to look at or whatever, I don't know if I introduced. I actually didn't. But this is Aaron, dope ass trader, dope dude from South Jersey. He got recognized by Astro FX, so you might know him on YouTube. You got any questions? Definitely hit him up or whatever. But yeah,
I didn't have no questions, but I guess since we're just going over market analysis, I was just gonna give my little tidbits. I had SPX marked up and EA already. We're going into it.
If you have the screen, you can share your screen if you want to.
Yeah, I want to share mine as well.
Word up.
You can go ahead first. I got to sign in to the Zoom on my laptop right quick.
All right. All right. So Let me get this shit popping. So I'm on my iPad. It starts fucking up. Sorry. So I only personally trade Euro Aussie and GBPUSD. So we've had a little bit. I'm gonna just clear off where the charts. Fuck. It's annoying as hell on the iPad. My fault. Fuck. Oh, this shit. Measure. Wall drawings. All right, perfect. All right. So I'm gonna start off on the weekly. As you guys can see on GBPUSD. So I like to do my wicks. These are my daily levels. So boom. So we had a breach of this weekly right here. And then we also had a secondary breach of this weekly right here, right? But this is a more daily level, but this one is just more of like a very crazy spike. It was respected right around this area over here. But I'm gonna place my weekly over here for these purposes. Now, we've been in a little bit of a downtrend, so there's been a lot of issues with this, especially in the pound. So they've had issues with furlough. For those who don't know what furlough is, that is basically Great GBP's stimulus plan for the UK. So they've had the furlough issues. Furlough's starting to run out. People are starting to, go back to jobs and stuff like that, but they still aren't seeing the numbers that they want. They were just recently going through a lot of stuff, going over, gas shortage, truck driver shortage. So their economy is in a little bit of a slump. Now, for those who actually keep up, Evergrande is one of the largest housing development, pretty much housing developers in all of China. They have a lot of bondholders, and if their company collapses, they could literally induce, a global financial crisis. So what's happening right now with Evergrande is they're actually starting to miss their debts. So they're supposed to be repaying bond purchases, and they're actually starting to default on some of their payments, right? So that has been one of the biggest things, driving the dollar right now, especially helping it create, gain some strength. So, going back to structure, I'm sitting here just marking it. So let me set this up for you guys. Where is the drawing tool? I'm tripping. Brush. All right, so these highs, we have this very strong resistance, right? And it was broken down here. Now, so what we saw here was we have this weekly level rejected. So this is near a psychological level for me, 134. So I like to do my psychological levels like about every 50 pips. You can do it every 25, but every 50 has been a little bit of a stronger suit for me. So once we broke this resistance, so that's 1, 2, 3 lows broken, bang. Now we just came banging back down into this area. So, people like to use a fib, slap a nice little fib on here. I don't really respect anything that doesn't go like at least 60, 68, 61.8, I'm sorry. So as you guys can see, this resistance level now is lining up perfectly with those 3 lows. Okay, so as you can see, we had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes all week. It was fighting this level on these lows, as you guys can see right here. So we have a nice little, what I like to do is my areas of liquidity. So I have, see this little box right here, right before we have this huge spike up, and then we have this area of liquidity and spike down. So I like to drag this. It's a nice little area. As you can see, price has been rejecting this area a lot. So we have this little area of support right here, like a nice little order block. If you guys even want, if price wants to come back up here again and then reject from here, I think I'll be looking to take some shorts from here personally, unless the market wants to do something else. So, all right. So we have this spike right here. This is the one that honestly for me was the defining factor. So this spike right here, price rejected it. So as you can see, we got very close to our psychological level of 1365. So we had a spike here. We had 1, 2, 3 spikes. Boom, downward momentum. We had another spike. We're still creating. Let me do this because this magnet's pissing me off. As you guys can see, we have not had H4 close above that spike. But now, in turn, let me turn this fucking magnet off. we have been creating some structure like this. Okay, so as you guys can see, it's an ascending triangle, but if we look on the daily, we have all these spikes. Area, price is getting very exhausted right around this area. So personally, for me, I want to wait a little bit in the week. I want to see if these H4 highs will be broken. If they're not broken, I'm most likely gonna wait for. I would say, let me go down to the 1 hour. I'm personally still looking for shorts. So structure was, stalled and dead to me. Let me just give you guys an idea of what I'm thinking about. So low right here on the 1 hour. So as soon as we came down here and broke it, that is when I started turning to a bearish type of mind frame. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start looking for shorts, right? So, but as if you notice, we still have not broken that wick high and price is rejected. Look what happened. Look what happened over here. Look at all of this rejection. Price couldn't even stand it. This was NFP. NFP couldn't even, like, the mixed emotions from NFP. So for the guys who don't follow, I know Hob is starting to taper it up. Like, I know I talked to him about it a little bit, because he didn't understand it, but I'm glad that he's paying attention to it because it is one of those things that definitely helped me out as a trader. So tapering is quantitative easing or tightening of bond purchases. So that means money that the government is pumping in. So if, let's say, the government is buying about $10 billion worth of stock, bonds, government bonds each month, and they reduce it down to about 8 million. Now the value of the dollar is going to start rising because the government isn't pumping as much money into the market. Just like how they increased the debt ceiling. Like, we actually needed that. People may think, oh, they're just going to be printing more money. We already printed a shit ton of money. They're just increasing the debt ceiling. I mean, it's happened before multiple times in the past. But if we didn't do it, the entire government was shut down. So they delayed us. So that's also brought some strength back into the dollar. But personally, for me, I would say if we're going to start looking for shorts, I would like to see maybe this area come down here, be broken, do a little fib play, and see what happens from there. Because as you can see, all right, if I go to the H4, all right, I'm gonna do the H4 bodies right here. Actually, let me put the magnet back on for a second. You can see I drag this right here. So I do my H4 zones with the arrow for those who, don't want to get confused. Now look at all this rejection in this area right here. So boom, this was an Asian low right around here. Boom, right around here. This was created a new London low. So when it came all the way back up here and then retested it down here, so it can come back and retest this area, which was, a multiple rejected area. This was about, click here, it's about 50 pips. So that would have been a nice intraday trade for me personally because it is very choppy price action. But, it's one of those things you got to be careful. So if I see a break of this H4 area, I'm gonna start looking for shorts. If I see a break of this H4 area above, I'm gonna start looking for shorts. All right. So if we break above, my first target probably might be somewhere up here. Intraday, I could probably do right around here for a break and retest. It's about a good 80 pips. You guys are going to be patient with that. But if we break below, I'm gonna just start looking for it to just start cycling down. Probably go back down to 134 and then just keep tumbling from there. Before I move on to EURUSD, is there any questions?
Hey, I was just looking for the exact same thing on GU, but is this live or is this back test?
So this is my analysis. I've actually done the analysis on this already. So I've been looking at this.
You see where you got your alert at on the hour?
Yeah. So these are new alerts. Alerts that are waiting to happen.
So basically, that's like around my area. I was potentially trying to sell from that. I think it was a 4-hour leg.
Yeah. From below the lower one. Yeah. So if it breaks past here, I'm gonna wait for a break and retest. Personally, I only trade between London and 3 hours into United States session where the most liquidity is. It's actually helped me because there's a lot of consolidation in Asia. So, it helps me, not really do any of the false moves. The only pair I really trade during Asia is EURUSD because it's an odd pair and, odd moves during Tokyo. So,
Oh, I was at testing EURAUD this weekend. They had some nice moves last week.
Oh yeah, 100%. But as you can see, right, fib, the daily fib is in play, but I was talking to my mentor. This low right here at 1355 is a psychological level. Look how it rejected right around here. Like, there's just a lot of consolidation going on right now for GU. I'm just gonna let this one just play out a little bit. I want to see the direction it wants to go. I think it's gonna head lower. Now, this is a motherfucker and a half to trade. This is all structure-based trading. You really got to understand like where it's going. So as you can see, we just had these last couple of days of just straight bearish action. Strictly off the fact that the dollar has been getting weaker over the past couple of days. It was consolidating pretty much all of NFP. Just going super sideways. So we have, as you can see right here, we were going into this weekly area, and I had 1, 2, 3 wicks. These 3 wicks right here, doji, 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 and then a nice gravestone just started plummeting. All right, and we just started fucking plummeting from here. So what I did was I'm just waiting for retracements right now. I'm pretty bearish on this right now, especially on the daily. It broke these 2 lows. Let me see. Let me show you guys. These 2 lows right here, very important lows for me on the daily, and they were both breached. So now I'm just looking for shorts. As of right now, it came in, tested this liquidity area, like I told you guys before the candle. Took the candle, just dragged it across, and it was a lot of price action over here, right around this candle area, especially since it tapped actually. If you guys look, 158 area, psychological level, tapped it again. Pretty much didn't really do much over here. And so I was actually kind of tight in myself. I didn't take this trade. So we had 1, 2 breaches right here. This third tap right here, I actually missed it. It was at the start of London, and it really didn't do anything from there. Oh shit. So as you guys can see, right, we have this H4 daily wick body high. It tapped it again, and then this third tap, it just kind of took off. Now, when I tell you guys, I really trade, I like trading London, areas of London. This is why, because if you put the little cursor right here, the vertical line, 3 a.m. Okay, 3 a.m. came into this area, 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. My entry probably would have been the close of this candle, right? And it just would have just kept going down from there. So, nothing too crazy. This little arrow right here in the middle was an intraday level. It was clearly breached. So in these 2 blue lines that you see, daily area, right over here, area of interest. So if I want to place a 4-hour fib on here, right, there we go, from this high, where's my fib? My fault, hold up. I want to place a fib. Dang. See how between the 61.8 and the 78.6, it literally lines up perfectly with my daily area of interest. And on top of that, it's like this little H4, blocked off area. So I'm just gonna wait on this.
I'm expecting a reaction right there, but I'm gonna let intraday prove itself.
Yeah. So intraday for Euro Aussie, personally for me, what I see all right, 15. Let me see where some structure is being made. All right, so these highs were broken right here. So this is a high right here. This is a high right here. Boom, I take this across. All right. All right. Now, what it does, what I noticed what Euro Aussie does, when it breaks structure on the lower time frames and wants to continue up, it'll always come down and grab liquidity. So if I take this base low right here, so this is the US low from October 20, actually, where is it? Yeah, that is it. From the 21st, drag it across, look at that. And look at what time it retested it. So I came and retested it literally during the US session. So look, tested US, Asia, came all the way back up, US retest, and it literally flew up from there. So what I want you guys to start looking at is the highs and lows of the sessions, and see where liquidity takes it. You know what I mean? Because now, look what happened. If I placed a fib on right here after it broke structure on the intraday fib, it wants to continue higher. It already came down to my 78.6 level. It's just all based off structure. So that's all it is, man. But any questions on that?
Really, to make it simple on people, like, and then it was a breakthrough for me to understand, solidify highs and lows that make highs, highs that make lows. Once you figure it out, you clear a lot of noise.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, a tip that Astro taught me that I'm gonna tell you guys, like, once it breaks two previous structure highs or lows, you guys can start looking to change your bias, whether it's gonna be bullish or bearish. It's definitely something that I noticed, and it's helped me out a lot. So, especially with EURUSD, last thing, equal highs. I know it does this a lot. It tests areas a lot. It'll do equal highs, equal lows. So if you test this, like, look, if I take this, if I shorted this right here, right, let's say right here, and all the way down here, it's about 197 pips, just off of that. But this pair, these are I trade two very volatile pairs, Euro Aussie, GU. If you understand them and can, handle the movements and be patient, you can catch a lot of pips. But other than that, thanks, bro. Thanks, let me teach you peoples. Sorry.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate that for sure. And I know it's coming from, man, you in line with some legends right now, so I'm tapped in with you for sure. So cool. Appreciate that rundown, bro. EA and GBPUSD. Some people who just came into the call, we've just been on the market looking at opportunities, talking about fundamentals that set up these technicals throughout the week. And for those that missed my early analysis, I'm gonna just breeze through real quick. And then for whoever who has questions, want to share their screens and their thoughts, we can do that as well. And I'll probably be out of here in the next 15 minutes. Sounds good?
Yeah, bro.
No problem. All right, cool. So this is EURUSD. And as we've been talking about throughout this whole call, the dollar has been bullish for quite some time coming in from January, right? And I just want to look at a very, very macro look at the dollar, right? So just looking back from coronavirus, like March 2020, we see the dollar here spike up into these highs to try to mitigate and continue higher, but the pandemic was coming. And if you look, right, if you look and do like pre-analysis and take your replay button, it almost becomes like, how do I say this? Like, it becomes like conspiracy theorist level of like technical analysis, because if you look at the fall from coronavirus, there was no need for this to spike up like this unless there was something grand in the world to happen. And, like for everybody that has alternate thoughts of what the public is about the pandemic, you know what I'm talking about. So nonetheless, since then we've been bearish as fuck, right? Coming into January, Biden has given hope to America with vaccines, 100 million plan that went well. The businesses have been back up and rolling, schools, this, that, and the third. So now we have a bullish dollar eating up these gaps and just continuing higher. And I have this price point of 94,150 on the left-hand side here that you can see we very much cleared, and this yellow line where it's like 93,930. I'm a very simple trader in terms of my technicals and what I look for, but I have a lot of confluences that I need to happen for me to take that narrative to a certain direction. So the narrative here is bullish as hell, right, y'all? So looking down on the 4-hour chart, we can see a very simple wedge pattern that is a retail pattern, of course, playing out. We have these highs intact here. So my vision right now for the week is to be patient to see if we could break above these highs at 94.41. And if we look to the left, right, the area of interest that I pointed out, what was it? Yeah, 150. We can stay above these two levels. We can definitely tap into 94.630. And there's a lot of liquidity above that we could pretty much stop anywhere in between, but it could spike in that area, and that could lead for a lot of good intraday plays. And this would just be a continuation of the major pairs continuing to slide. So real quick, right? This is a super, super basic ass demonstration, but I think it really helps just to give a frame of mind in terms of looking at pairs and dollar strength in particular, right? So picture we have a seesaw, right? On one side, we have Euro, looking at EU, right? And on one side, we have the dollar. If we have a seesaw and this person here is 50 pounds heavier than this person, what's gonna happen to this seesaw? We're gonna see this go bearish, or we're gonna see this seesaw teeter this way. So just to give a visual representation of what's happening with the dollar and major pairs is the complete inverse. We have the dollar strength pulling EURUSD down. And if I pull aside the dollar and EURUSD, structurally, it's insanely similar, inversely, right? If you look at my left-hand side screen, you can see bearish price action. You look at the hour chart here on the right-hand side of the screen, it's completely the opposite. And so moving forward, right? Just on the technical basis of EURUSD, I'm looking to see these areas of liquidity be taken before we can continue bearish in the long term for the real moves of the week. Now, Monday and Tuesday, I like to give some sort of breathing room for the market to pretty much adapt to what is happening fundamentally, or what needs to develop and manifest itself on a chart for you to take an idea. So with that being said, I'm going to wait. And you can see here, right? You can see price wants to come higher, just the nature of price. The structure of price, we have a high, higher low here, higher high here. And so we still have these highs intact. So we can still play around and mitigate between 151,600, even below the 154.10. But until we break below that, you know, I wouldn't take for bearish plays below here. But I do see London and Asia, or Asia and London, bringing price up to these higher levels. Now, granted, if we can close above these levels and continue higher, all the more good, because that'll just continue the plays even further down the line for like 150 more pips if price continues to breach higher and higher and higher, because we know tapering is coming. And like Aaron said, tapering, and I appreciate you, Aaron, for real, because like I knew what tapering was kind of, but like just putting it in plain terms, because all this trading shit and all this fundamental shit, Wall Street, Evergrande, it could be real type of overwhelming for the average person, right? For people who don't normally grow up with this type of information. But it's really quite simple. America is printing a lot of money that we can't back, and we're in hella debt. Evergreen is going to shit on America. So we need to taper, and we need to stop buying assets. And so that's literally what's happening. And when I thought about it like that, I'm like, all right, cool. It's pretty simple to actually explain. Because when they say these fancy ass words, you know, that's meant to just put fear and like confusion into, you know, into the public. Regardless of the fact, we tapering, so that's going to cause the dollar to rise. We may see the dollar to retrace before that happens, but that's simple price flow and market cycle. So that's the dollar and EU. I know that was pretty long-winded. And I'll just breeze over GJ. As I was saying before, it could be very confusing to trade GJ, but just trade with the daily trend. And if you're scalping, trade with the session trend as well. And so lately, this has been a bullish narrative coming up to 153.200, where I want to see price rejecting from personally. But we might have some jabs, and I might have to just sit on my hands for this one, because I really don't personally like this price action, for real. But if there's opportunities, we'll play along. So I know this is like my first call with y'all in a minute. It's been like a year. You know, I used to have these calls pretty much daily with Draz's chat. And MBS FX is in here as well. So you already know the deal in terms of the live calls, but I trade London 3 a.m., 6 a.m. daily. I literally just pop a call up. I'm either got my coffee with my son, or I'm playing some music. So, you know, it's early as shit in the morning on the East Coast. So we just vibing on the call, and we just talking like this, talking about plays. If we won or lost, I always keep it transparent and shit like that. So that's that. I'll be looking at SPX too. I don't have a solid markup yet. So, but I'm like kind of paper trading. Say it again, bro. I'm sorry.
I was saying, if you want, I can take over on that right quick. That's the one
on SPX.
Yep.
Oh, that's even better. All right, cool. I'm gonna let go of my screen now. And for those that don't, for those that are not in my Discord, I'll send them my free Discord link over, and that's where I'm gonna be live going. Either I'll go on Zoom like we're doing now, or in like the live trade room. It's pretty simple and self-explanatory, but yeah. Let me. What am I doing? Oh, stop share. All right, got it.
See right quick. All right, so this is pretty much what I had going on for SPX. By the way, my name is Bishop. That's what I go by as far as trading and shit, but either way it goes, let's look at it. So my main tool, like he was just saying, as far as like trade with the daily. This is my fib that I have as far as the weekly is concerned. So looking at that, price came near to 38%, so I'm still anticipating it to come lower. And if we look left, right at that 61.8 area, we can see price hasn't traded here in a while. So I like this as a good reversal point. So I'm still bearish on the daily. I use my 8 and 21 EMAs to confirm that following the 21. So now that we got that set up, put a throw a fib on here from that daily trend. Impulsive move down though. You see it came right up to that 61%, rejected with the 21. So I'm looking for that to continue down. I break below this 270 area, definitely coming back down here. I'm anticipating down to this 4,050 area at the very minimum. For the zones, I like to see. So I'll go down to the 4 hour, make a little line chart, then mark off the extreme highs that we've already been to and extreme lows.
Yo, bro, real quick, I mean to interrupt. I got the free Zoom right now and shit. I don't feel like paying a monthly, so we got like 10 minutes on it, but it works perfectly, bro. You're doing great.
Oh, no, you good. Appreciate it. Let's see here. So yeah, this is basically what we're playing at for now, going into the week. So those are my 4 hour zones where I'm trading in between, as we can see on the daily. Just headed out. We got the rejection right up here at that last support break. It came up to retest, so we're looking for that to go down. Because the weekly close as a doji, nobody has real control over the market, so we could just see a range in between these two levels. This is pretty much what I'm looking at. So if anything, I could see buy stop order like right under here to catch it. But really, I like this for the sell limit area. Oh, I said buy. That's not the right one.
Y'all hear them dogs in my background?
Yeah, it's all good. Sell limit still stop.
They don't stop. That's all day long.
And that's take profit. Just going down to the next zone if you don't want to hold it for long. I always say try to get above that last high that printed right here. So it's a little 20-point stop. If price gets back into that trade zone, take it down for 125. That's what I'm looking at for that. If we get a break below this 2390 area, or really 2370, break and close with some momentum, I like it to.
That's fire, bro. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yo, so I've been trading SPX like lightly, low risk or whatever, really low risk, like OD. Like I'm like, damn, I need to put some higher loss on there. But I've noticed sometimes, right, that I like there's wicks that take me out positions and continue in directions. Do you ever experience that?
Not necessarily, because my entry. So what I use for entry personally. So my 8 and 21 for whatever direction I'm looking to trade in, I use for my setup.
Right.
I like to go down as tight to the 15 or the 5 for my entry candlestick. But anytime this blue crosses up, if I know that I'm looking for a sell, I know that right now I'm looking at pullback. Now that we're in our zone,
right, I'm
looking for a candlestick that I want. So like real talk, this probably would have been my entry right here, right under this, put a little sell stop under this bearish candlestick after that pin bar. And so it would have been something just like this.
Yeah.
That I've been trading. But my entry method kind of protects me from getting wicked out.
Right.
So I now that happens a lot to me in Nas. That's why I've had to take a step back in Nas getting wicked out. But SPX has been a little more pays like that, you know, the indice, but moves like a currency for me. So it's been a little smoother.
Right. That's why I trade SPX. I know a lot of people love like Nas and US 30. Don't get me wrong, you can get paid, but like it's just a lot of stress for me personally.
Yeah, yes, it is. I agree.
A lot of stress. I trade EU. That's basically trading like I should trade like a bus sometimes. 20 pips for like a whole, 3-hour session. But when it comes to risk and reward, and that was a great analysis, bro, by the way. But when it comes to risk to reward, it's important that we have 2 to 3 R, so we can lose 2 to 3 trades and be up the next trade and a half. That's really key, man. And it's important too. It's mad cliche, but like, you ever seen the picture where it's like the 2 people digging for diamonds and shit, and like the one dude turns around? If he just dig one more time, he would have got it. That's trading. And so you got to follow your plan. You got to stick to your numbers. And at the end of the day, it's really about your mindset when it comes to it. And I tell a lot of people too, if you got a lot of shit going on in your life, stress, just this, that, and the third, it's probably best for you to stay off the charts.
Nah, that's a fact. I agree wholeheartedly. Like, you speaking to trading it in the zone for real. Like, and bro, YouTube audio, try to get at least 20 minutes in a day on that. And I'm telling you, he refresh your memory.
No doubt. And whatever you got to do to get your mind right. If you got to smoke some weed, you got to hit the gym, whatever you got to do. It's cliche. I'm full of cliches though, but the cliche be the true shit. Mind, body, soul, that's the brand, man. So if your mind and your body not right, it's not going to look good. So great call, y'all. I don't want to take too much of y'all Sunday. Market's open. Be patient this Sunday. Don't go, in the red on a Sunday coming into Monday. And yeah, man, if y'all got any questions, hit up the Discord. If you have any issues getting into it, let me know. And if y'all need this recording too, let me know. I recorded this too. So, it's a nice little playback. And yeah, I'm gonna holla at y'all, man. Y'all have a great one.
Appreciate it, Joe. Yep, too.
All right.
How I get it? I want it.
In the chat right now.
Yeah, what's the name? How you want it on your email or something like that? You know what I'll do? I'm gonna throw it up on a YouTube link. I'm gonna put it on like an unlisted. I might go public with it, but I'll send it to y'all. But I need your I don't know, you're in my Discord? Oh, matter of fact.
Wait, hold on. Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, I'm sorry. You what's the
No,
name?
you good.
On Telegram. You can hit me on Telegram. I'll just send it to I'll send you the link. Or I'm gonna send it to the whole group. I'm tripping. I got y'all.
Okay, yep.
All right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.